Hey peoples, I'm back with the third video of the day. Well, I want to say night now because it's night because I kind of took me a little breaky break in the middle. Prep my stuff so I can make some chicken tacos because so far so good. The power has stayed on since the last video I made before today. The power's been on since then. Hot water is bomb as fuck. Like I say, different parts of Texas are experiencing different things. Okay, some places still got ice, some places don't. And yeah, it's not so much about what's happening around you, it's how do you survive it? How do you muddle through it? Because people could, you know, this video is kind of hard for me to make, but at the same time, it's not hard for me to make because, I mean, some of my videos ain't going to make you feel good all the time. Some videos are not going to make you feel good all the time. Some videos are going to make you sit back, be mad, think, whatever. But I'm going to make it anyway for those that want to watch it and can resonate with it, understand where I'm coming from. That's great. Those who want to watch it and be like, feel some type of way about it, I really don't care. If you've never been through anything in life and you've been over sheltered for your whole fucking life, or you subliminally teaching your kids to look down on others, like, you may not think that you're doing it, but the fruit of what you're teaching them is going to show up later. Okay, because I have a family member, like if I made a video, mention this, didn't mention this. One of my family members always did everything and shielded her kids when they were smaller from, like, two of them are like teens now, but the other two are like little. But the thing is this, over shielding a child from the real world. And what I mean by over shielding is like, you don't tell them that our reality is not everybody's reality. Everybody don't have designer bed, or everybody don't have designer clothes. Everybody don't have this, that, and the third. Everybody don't live in a house, but they know that. And I think I did mention this in a past video, but I think with all the stuff that had went on in like Texas, like to some extent, even though I don't talk to this family member, it almost make me think, damn, how did you explain the reality of what's going on to your children, that good things happen to people that sometimes other people deem that shouldn't, and then sometimes bad things happen to people that shouldn't. And sometimes you get what the fuck, well, you know, sometimes, yeah, for the most part, a lot of times people get what they put out, and they don't really know that a part of what they're dealing with is what they put out. You know what I'm saying? And it's like having to manifest as disappointment in front of your kids. You know damn well, if you grew up in a house where it was a habitual thing to have your lights off, not due to a power outage or a pipe busting or rolling blackouts, whatever. When you used to growing up in certain conditions to where you had to learn how to survive certain shit, then don't forget that. I don't give a fuck how far you make it in life. Don't forget about that other shit, because you were still learning like hidden clues back then for survival tips now, okay? And the thing is this, it's like this family member decided to, you know, always shelter her kids, and, you know, to the point that they would believe that everybody was supposed to love them the way that mommy and daddy love them. That everybody was just going to treat them nice, and that nothing bad in this world was going to ever happen, to where they would have to kind of like learn how to like sidestep certain bullshit. It's one thing when you learn what you're supposed to do, like in a hard time, and then you tuck it away because you want to forget about it because it was bad, versus you went through that and you're like, oh, fuck it. Fuck it. Be like, you know what? I'll never let my kids see a hard time because we saw too much. And I get that. But just like they have fire drills at school, when they had school open or whatever, because I don't have small school age kids right now, so I don't know about how school does like at this point. Okay, so it's like this. Just like they have fire drills at school. Not that the school was going to catch on fire. They were just doing a drill to say, hey, if something happens at school, or this and that happens, whatever, say the cafeteria ends up cooking something in their oven, like, does whatever. They show how to get out of, or like electrical, anything can happen. And they show the kids how to get out there in a single file line. They practice on how to exit something expeditiously in case an emergency should arise. If school can teach that, guess I understand that some things in your life you went through, you don't want to relive it. When it comes to like, some people were so poor, or their family was so, you know, mismanagement of funds or whatever like that, instead of taking care of their home, and they was going do other stuff to make people think they got it like that, and they don't got it like that. Meanwhile, you got your whole family in the dark purposely because you did not pay the light bill or whatever like that. Ignore all the talking outside. I'm still gonna make this video. Ain't no distractions gonna stop me, okay? So with that being said, let me finish. Or you can pause the video if you got something to do. Or hell, you can exit out the business if you don't want to hear what I got to say. But look, if you've went through something due to a parent's mismanagement of funds, and lights was cut off like every other month on the regular, even if it was in the middle of December, January, or February, or they just had bad, like a bad heating system, a bad cooling system, whatever like that. When me and some of my family members would have a particular hard time with stuff. Let me see my charge thing. Okay, yeah. All right, because I used up all my juice for the other video, but I got the other phone charging. So it's cool. I can make video on either or. But I digress. It's any and everything trying to distract me from saying what I really got to say, because this is like super hard pills. But I'm going to say it. Me and to my family members would all be like, because a lot of my family lived in the country. So some of the stuff that some people had to do when the electric went out, not saying that, okay, there were some parts that just could not do anything, but they were trying their hardest to for survival. You know, I've already heard some horror stories from a couple of people, and they're like, oh, but I'm here. Be like, dang. And then they asking me, like, was my side as bad? And I'm like, no, it wasn't that bad. Because you had some people that have went through stuff, but probably not too extreme when they were younger. So they didn't see firsthand, like, how to handle going without something that was, like, vital to your life. Like being too hot or too cold, or being without food or not without food. And a big part of that is, like, if you made it out of that as a child and you learned from other people who had to do what they had to do to survive, don't forget that no matter how up the totem pole you go. Because it's like this. Even if I should be super duper well off with everything, I ain't gonna never forget. I'll never forget how to survive when I need to. And that's what you could tell who ain't never been through nothing. And it shows. It's like this. You can't think that, oh, I'm going to shield my children from everything I've been through because I don't want them to experience that. Well, there's a lot more things coming, and your children have to be prepared. Going to Starbucks every morning and getting donut holes and orange juice, or getting you some coffee or whatever like that, you couldn't do that on a snowy day. So if you took your child out every day to do that, and it's like all of a sudden you can't do it because places are closed. I mean, thankfully, they have restaurants open near me. Not like a lot. I know my job was open for to-goes. I went like that first time, and then I went the second day, and then they were super slow, and then they told me, damn, we didn't get busy all day. We got busy at night. But the first day I went, I mean, I still got paid for going both days, but that's not the point. The whole point of the matter is some places legit did not have food, like no open places, no nothing to feed anybody. And right before all this pandemic stuff, I mean, when all this pandemic stuff was trying to get right, and people got all they stimulus and this and that, fronting and stunting online, like, I got this and I got that and I got this and I got that. And so you was buying shit to please other people, but you neglected to buy you some extra jugs of water to stick in the back, just in case shit. Or got you some snacks, just in case shit. Like, I've been stocking up little by little by little by little every time I will go to the store. Before this, and right after, like, the pandemic, a little bit before the pandemic started, and then more so after, once some more funds came into my hand, I was like, you know, I ain't bullshitting. I'm gonna go get this. I'm gonna go get that. I'm gonna go get this. I'm gonna go get that. To the point, I even stocked up on Kotex, okay? Whatever. Any kind of feminine products, like washes, butt wipes, vagina-friendly bath bombs, coochie wipes, all that shit. There's a big old crate back there with all that shit too, because I mean, every time I would find a deal or a sale, get it, throw it back there, throw it back there, throw it back there, use my coupons. Some people be feeling like, okay, well, they too, because you could double up some coupons at CVS if you know how to do that shit right. To the point I come out the store with like $20-something worth of shit for like, what, little less than $2, because I had so many fucking coupons on top of store coupons, on top of this, on top of that. You just got to know how to work that shit. But anyway, some people feel like, okay, I'm just too good to use a coupon, or the Lord done blessed me with this and blessed me with that. Even though the government has something to do with all this back and forth, these power rollouts and these rolling blackouts and all the power and shit doing what it do, there's nothing happens for one reason and one reason only. Sometimes this shit could have happened for two reasons. It's like whatever happens, good or bad, like what you supposed to learn from it, or what are you supposed to do about it, or what you supposed to learn from it, how are you supposed to handle it. Okay, for people who have not been through anything and act like, oh, you gotta have this, you gotta have that, that's all you got, this is all you got, like you, whatever, like if somebody go to, I mean, just whatever, just using that as an example. But then when the rubber meet the road and you sitting there like you're not fucked up in your mental space because you know that when your child was younger, they may have seen a hard time in the family or whatever. See, it's not going through certain things when you little, like lacking something because your parent either couldn't provide it through means of they either lost a job or they mismanaged their funds to try to make people they stunting and fronting. And then they just not taking care of their priorities. It's the things that fuck kids' heads up. Now, that I'm gonna say it like this: it can fuck a kid head up if they feel like that everything in life is supposed to go their way all the time, their way all the time. It's not gonna go their way all the time. And having friends these days, or people that genuinely cared about other people, and these days is different than when we were younger. Like you could go and smoke weed and drink beer at your friend's house and you didn't even have to worry about them slipping shit in your drinks or slipping this and that, or these, like you didn't even have to worry about people like just trying to do bad shit to you for no reason too much back in them days. You know what I'm saying? Like now it's kind of like some kids are innocently walking into shit because their parents are not telling them, look, life is not like how it was when we was younger. You could do this and you could do that when we was younger. But these days, like, I think the most valuable thing some people telling their kids, like, oh, don't take candy from a stranger. It's not just candy. It's other things too. And be like, oh, so-and-so say they gonna bring me this or they gonna bring me that or whatever like that. And then the moment you don't do what the person wants you to do because they gave you something, they feel like they own you to the point to be like, well, I gave you an extra box of crayons and you don't want to be my friend no more? Well, fine, you know, and then they start doing all kind of crazy shit. Like back in the day, like kids were not, they were cruel to a certain extent, but they're not as cruel as kids can be to these days. And I feel the whole reason that they went to school uniforms instead of having kids wear regular clothes is because the poor kids would get teased for not having the expensive things that some kids had and some kids did not have. They still was going to pick at you anyway. If your clothes are too tight, because you eat and popping out your school uniform, or if you really skinny and your uniform is loose on you because you missing meals because either the child is either naturally skinny or the parent is not putting food in the home, and the only meal that some of these kids get is going to school, and they're guaranteed to have some type of a free lunch or whatever like that. But I mean, man, it's not the same. You got to teach your kids that everybody's not going to be as nice to you all the time like mama and daddy. Everybody ain't got your best interests at heart. Watch how people treat other people in your presence, and then you'll know if you can like be friends with the person, talk to the person, whatever like that. And back to the fire drill thing, because I'm thinking about it. if your school could have a fire drill, why can't you like have some type of a drill at home? Maybe if you're married, you need to do this with your spouse. Maybe if you single and you got kids, maybe you need to do. This is not like a marital advice or a single person advice, nothing. This is just anybody that got kids advice, okay? Anybody that got a kid, okay? And a small kid at that. Have like a drill at the house. Like maybe if the reason I mentioned if they're married or whatever, so y'all can agree to have this little false blackout. What I mean by that is, you know, maybe go in the garage if that's where it is, if that's where your breaker is, or go in your closet, because I know some places have the breakers in the closet, some places have it in the garage. Go and cut your breakers off and know where your candles are and stuff like that, and then maybe come out and tell the kid, well, we don't have any power at this moment. We don't have whatever like that. I don't know what it is, but we don't have power at the moment. Oh, but let me show you other creative ways that we could do this. And they'd be like, how am I supposed to watch TV? They're like, no. Let's just talk. Like, let's talk about what you got going on at school. How do you feel about, do you have anything like going on around you or in your mind that you want to talk about? Hey, let me show you how you can get heat going. Or let me show you how to cool off if it's too hot. I live in Texas and we be having like heat like a motherfucker. Like Christmas was kind of like hot than a bitch in certain areas, okay? As I think around Christmas time, I had on a short sleeve shirt walking around outside. Like it's crazy. Like Texas weather is like you can experience all fucking 4 seasons in a week. Sometime in the same day. So yeah, you better bring a jacket, an umbrella, whatever. Like wherever you live, just, you know, you already know what to do to be prepared or whatever. Say you could tell their child, like, let's talk. Let's, like, what's on your mind? Let's talk. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let me show you how we can keep warm. If you do decide to do it, don't do it when it's too cold outside. Don't do it when it's too hot outside. Or if it's a little chill or whatever like that, then it's okay, because you know you can go cut your breaker back on, okay? But make sure the house is warm and everything you need is done before you do it, okay? So go and switch off your breakers. Tell the kids, oh, you know, it's a little bit chilly. Hey, let's go get our coats. Let's go get our coats. Let's put on this. Let's put on that. And it's like a fire drill. Like a drill for like the cold, or if something else happened, because something else will happen. Something else will happen. It ain't gonna be the cold like that no more, because everybody that already spoke on what they feel that it is, what they know that it is, whatever like that. Hell, they might decide to go up to certain northern states and do something to fuck with the air and make the snow melt in a certain place where everybody's used to the cold, and then give they ass fucking Texas type heat, like 102 degree. I think the highest heat we have ever had probably is a little over like maybe like 102, 103, something like that. Maybe they could have an extreme, I'm saying maybe, but it's whatever. I'm saying maybe, because I don't really know. Just giving scenarios. That way you can have it in your mind as a drill. Okay, you live in a place where it's always cold, always cold, always cold. And they do something to fuck it up and make it like so hot that you can't even fucking breathe in through your mouth or through your nose or whatever like that. And then you in panic mode and passing out from the heat. You see what I'm saying? Whenever people are used to living in certain climates, they get used to it and they don't know nothing else. You know what I'm saying? But then again, some of the people that live in Texas that used to live in cold ass states be like, this ain't nothing. Be like, bitch, are you serious? You're sitting outside like this. They be like, oh, I lived at such and such and such and such before, and it's colder than this. Be like, you know what? Texans ain't used to that type of cold. We just not, okay? It's like you live somewhere real hot and then you like experience that much a type of cold, you gonna feel some type of way. But anyway, have little drills as much as possible. That way a child can like not get it in their head to where things are fucked up, but so they'll know what to do if something happened. Like we had like an electrical short one time when I was small. And so 3 or 4 outlets in the house didn't work or whatever. So we had to get an extension cord and go from the kitchen to a whole nother room in the house to plug it on the side that actually worked. Because the house we lived in was old than a motherfucker. And then another time, my mama's stove had broke to where she was cooking, right? And then all of a sudden, like, we could smell the food cooking or whatever like that. And then the burners just stopped working or whatever. I've seen my sister, like, I didn't even think she had it in her. But for her to be, you know, forgetting how she makeshifted things for survival mode, yeah, you need to bring that back up and teach your kids that, yeah, when shit happens sometime, improvise. Because when you get kids like thinking that it's always, everything is going to be peachy and you going to be able to do this and do that, not always. You got to prepare for the worst, but live for the best, but prepare for the worst, if that's making any sense. Okay, so my sister went to the garage. She said, my mama was making something like in this big ass pot. I don't even remember. I think she was making pork chops, rice, and gravy. Yeah, that's what she was making. And then she had like some beans or something like that on the side. So my little sister took it upon herself to go in the garage. And she took 2 bricks out of the garage because we had some extra bricks in there and stuff like that. Because my daddy was like trying to do some little landscaping stuff. And add some extra bricks to some other things. Try to make something in the front yard like look pretty or whatever. It was like a couple extra bricks back there. My sister plugged up in a regular ass iron in the wall. She took 2 bricks and put 1 brick on each side of the iron. Do you hear me? She turned it up to the highest fucking setting. My mama just looked at her like she was crazy. Like, what are you doing? She goes, oh. And we was little kids, so we was always fucking with shit. But me, in my mind, being greedy, was like, damn, the stove stopped working. When we gonna get to eat? The stove stopped working and the food just stopped cooking. So after my sister was like, she was like more the think fast type, you know, and I had to catch up to that shit. Because me, I'd be like, damn, this is fucked up. What we gonna do? And then actually, truth be told, my sister was like, she was real smart in some areas, and in other areas she just lacked total sense. But for the most part, the areas that mattered, she had it. Because every one of us got one of them siblings that's kind of just whatever. But for the most part, like, don't act like you forgot. So she took the iron and she put it in between those 2 bricks. She had the iron there on the highest setting. She told my mama, Till, it's the heat. She's like, mama, bring me the pot out the kitchen. Bring me the pot out the kitchen. My mom was like, that's going to fall on the floor. My sister was like, man, mama, please just bring the pot out the kitchen. So my sister went in the garage and she was like, what else can I get? So she couldn't, I think she got some more, 2 more bricks. And then she got a pair of my daddy cowboy boots. That's where he thought he was a black cowboy. Black as fuck. He thought he was a black cowboy. So she took the boots to sturdy it, like to hold it in place so it wouldn't wobble, because my daddy had like big ass feet. She took those boots like and stuck the heels like on the side, and then she had the bricks because she had the boots sitting on one side of the bricks. My daddy was complaining about, don't scuff my boots, don't scuff my boots. And my mama was like, let me see what she gonna do. So my sister got that thing, that iron, to where it don't wobble, and sat that pot. My mama sat that pot on top of that iron. Covered that thing with some foil paper. Because she couldn't find the top to the pot. And then my mama went digging around in the kitchen and shit. She was like, oh, I found the top to the pot. Because usually, like, if you got, I don't know, she just had this thing about not putting tops on top of pots until after what she cooked was done. She didn't really simmer shit. But as we got older, we taught our mama how to do other stuff in the kitchen. So I'd like to say that we, you know, we both taught her some things. But at the same time, my sister taught me something. she was only like a couple years younger than me, but her mind was just all over the place. And it's like when life hits you and then you be influenced by the wrong people or whatever like that happen, and somehow you just lose your sense of how to survive because you end up having a life change that made you feel like you were better, and then God had to take it all away to humble you, but taking it away slowly to the point that kids would say, we never lived in apartments before. Why we don't live in a house no more? That had to be the most heartbreakingest thing to hear for your child to say, is why we don't live in a house no more. You need to teach your kids, not saying this about my sister, but I'm saying about anybody else. That, you know, the thing is that she you know, she catching the hint now. It's like when you are used to doing stuff a certain way, and or you forget like how to survive and shit, life will come along and freaking teach you. When you start feeling like I'm just so above everybody else and mess with other family members that don't even want to fuck with you, like I don't fuck with you no more cause whatever, and then to hear just how, you know, you sacrifice so much just by being, you know, I'm better than you type mentality, and it's just not cool. It's like always fucking stay humble with what you have, because that'll determine whether you keep it or if you lose it. But the whole point of the matter is she did that witty ass shit. Soon as that stuff stopped, I'm talking about the gravy on them pork chops and stuff got thick as fuck. She was smart enough to know how to do that, but it's like, sometimes show your kids like the hard stuff, that what you dealt with like when you was a kid. Like when I say hard stuff, I ain't talking about lay down and like talk to them like you laying on a couch to talk to a therapist or nothing like that. I'm talking about teach them like little survival skills, like how to get heat from shit. Like for real. Like I seen my grandpa, like we used to see my grandpa like run out of charcoal or run out of this or run out of that. I done seen him start a fucking fire with damn, like, shit, anything that'll fucking burn that ain't toxic, okay? Just do not throw plastic in a fire, whatever you do. So, even though, like, you get your shit together or whatever like that, never be so high and mighty that you cannot, like, remember what to do in a time when you don't, like, need to do it, but always remember in case you had to do it. See, that's why I think I wasn't as in a frenzy, a panic frenzy about this weather thing, because I already just felt like, okay, well, I know how to survive. We've been through hard times when I was small. I know how to do it, but I feel sorry for the people who just felt like the sun rises and sets on them, because now you're mentally like fucked up when a catastrophe happens. So the people that you talk shit about for having less than you a long time ago, now they sit up here surviving, and you're like going in panic mode saying that, you know, you already planning your fucking funeral instead of taking your bitch ass outside, get sticks, make a fire, do this, do that, get you some hot cold bags, or if you had to boil some water, because some people couldn't even get water to boil, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here, but all I'm gonna say is, Houston, Texas, after the stores get restocked with water, and there's still some places with water, trying to think where it is. You could go, like, if you go in the corner stores anywhere, like on, you might have to ride out a little bit. You could go to, like, in the Bel Air area, Bissonnette area, Fondren area, like, that area, like they got restaurants open, okay? They have places open, and you might not be able to get a big jug of water, but you can get little 6-packs of water. But like I said, I've been stocking up like little by little by little, buying a jug or 2 jugs every day. Just depends on like how I felt that day or whatever. So, and it's weird as hell that I bought even with me buying some groceries off Amazon recent. I was wondering, they only had like a limit of 2 cases of water with Amazon. Like, you thought you'd try to be slick and be like, order 2 cases this time and order 2 cases next week or something like that. They know. They know. But anyway, the whole point of the matter is this. When all this shit returns to semi-normal, don't be fronting and stunting with no extra money that you get. Get you some ice pack stuff, because when the summertime come, they finna fuck with that, okay? They gonna try to put it up to like 105, 110, heat advisory. When the fall come, they gonna start with these not winter storms. They gonna start with these fucking windstorms and shit, to where people's, man, roofs blowing off. But I'm just saying, just be prepared. This 2021, it's almost like a continuation of a damn Stephen King movie from 2020. But anyway, let me just go ahead and roll out, because, yeah, I think I said all I needed to say. And I tried to soften my words just a little bit, because I know some people feel, you know, you can't tell me that I ain't supposed to just give my kids the best. Yes, you offer them the best. You're supposed to give them the best, but then also teach them how to survive should other fucking epidemics come up, because you got some kids walking around now traumatized as fuck, because they've never went a day without going to go get a juice or a donut hole. To the fact you hand them a Pop-Tart and a little hug juice, they look at you like you, like, I'm using Pop-Tarts as a bad example because I even much hate Pop-Tarts. But giving them something, a little Debbie cake, whatever, and a little juice jug. And then they looking at you like their whole world has ended. It's great. If you can do for your family, do for your family. But at the same time, you need to let them know the reality of other things. That, look, right now how the world is, you need to mentally train them how to, and some adults too need to be mentally trained with how to accept, like, you know, certain shit, like with nail shops being closed for during that little storm thing. Hell, I was supposed to go and get my nails done, I was supposed to go get my nails done, like, when it was, I think, Thursday, that I had called, like, before all this shit went down, and I'm like, damn, no, I can't go. I try to call, and she is not open today, so I'm gonna try again Monday. And if I don't do it Monday, I'm for sure she should have something for me open Tuesday. But they holding on. They yet holding on. But anyway, it's like, do what you can do when you can do it. And then when you can't do it, you ain't going to feel some type of way. You got to be a sick bitch to talk about somebody's hair or nails during a pandemic. You are the lowest of the lowest form. So people should talk about you because you get some type of a illness or whatever that you can't fucking get rid of, or something real bad happened to you. You gotta be a cold-hearted motherfucker, like a dumb bitch to the highest of the highest of the highest. People out here losing their lives and shit, and you worried about who got their hair dyed and who got their nails done. It's like, that's sad. That is really sad, and your priorities are fucked up. And something in your life is going to happen to where you're going to be trying to make an excuse, and it's not even going to be a legitimate one of why you're not doing something that you can do, and it's going to be your own fault. Whatever you put out is exactly what the fuck you get back. You are not exempt, and God don't play favorites. All right? Bye.